Hi everyone. Just thought I'd come in and do a quick update. So we're on day 4 or 5 of quarantine. It depends on like when you start counting. Um, and we're hoping to get our tests tomorrow, maybe, so that we can come out of quarantine. So some people have been asking questions like, what are you most excited about? What are you most nervous about? And so I just thought I would come in and like share that. And I've got to say that what I'm most excited about for sure is getting out of quarantine. When we first like looked up the regulations and understood like we'd have to be in quarantine for 10 days, we were like, yeah, that's fine. We haven't really been going out that much anyway because it's been a pandemic for the past 8 months. Like, this isn't new. Turns out that really staying inside, like really staying inside is very different than the type of staying inside that we were doing in the United States. Because we lived near a park, and we live near a park right now too, but like we could go out and be in the park, we could go for walks, we could go explore, and we're so excited to be in this new country, and we want to go out so bad, and we're going stir crazy. So that's honestly what I'm most excited about right now, is simply just going out. Anywhere, anything, just walking. Just put me on the street, on the sidewalk, let me walk. Or better yet, if the lockdown will allow it, is to get on the metro and just go. That sounds awesome. And what am I most nervous about? Right now, what I am most nervous about is finding an apartment. So we're in a short-term furnished rental right now. It's quite expensive, so we only did it for 2 months because we want to be able to get into our own place. And I personally, I need to nest. I want to be able to just make a home. And I've already started growing plants here, and we got green onions, and I started cultivating those. And I got a little pothos plant from the airport actually, and so it's growing in the windowsill. And so I already have plants started, and I already have like nesting happening, but it's not the same when none of the stuff is yours. And so we really want to get into our own apartment sooner than later, but the apartment market, the real estate market here is insane. Like, for every apartment showing, there are lines around the block, and it's so competitive. The rent is incredibly affordable, and there is a rent freeze for the next 5 years, so it's like fantastically affordable. But to get said apartment is like so nerve-wracking, and not being able to speak the language too, I think, is like adding to that. We're learning, like I'm learning words all the time. Definitely gamusa is like locked and loaded in my head now that we've ordered groceries a few times. Gamusa is vegetables. And juca, I don't even know where juca like came from. It's to push. Like, I don't know why that's in my head, but my brain grabbed it from somewhere, and now I know that word. So like, we're learning the language, but it's still like, I'm still in a foreign country trying to compete with locals for apartments, and that's really scary. So that's what I'm most nervous about. It's the little update. So we just went for our COVID tests. We're just so stir crazy. We just like to be able to get out and explore. And so we scheduled tests because we had the option to get tested instead of staying quarantined for 10 days. It costs over €100, which is a lot because the US dollar is weak right now. But it was nice to get out, and the sun is actually shining today, so that was really awesome. We were standing outside filling out the forms because you can't go inside if they don't know, if you're ill or not. So we're standing outside the doctor's office filling out the forms, and they're all in German, and I'm just thinking to myself, like, what if I didn't have Google to just like hold up and translate this? Like, what if this was a decade ago and we'd have to like stand there with our books open and like figure out in the dictionary like what the form says word by word? It would have been so hard. Like, I think about that a lot, like how just the internet and YouTube and all of these help articles have changed everything about our ability to make this happen. So that's actually really quite nice. And then I felt a little bit like an ugly American though, because I can't speak the language yet. I'm learning like more and more every day. I know more words, but I'm not fluent. And my partner has like the thing like down his throat, and the doctor's asking like, "Oh, where did you come from?" And I didn't like get it, and my partner's like waving his hand at me while the test strip is down his throat. He's like, "Answer." Like, obviously he can't. And so here they did it way down the throat, like a strep test, and then up your nose. And so I'm like, "You're putting this thing down my throat and then up my nose." I guess that's the order I would want it to go in, but ew. In the United States, it was up both sides of your nose. And then on our way out, I forgot how to use the door, I guess. I couldn't, like, the push bar was on the outside, but it was actually a pull bar, and the inside one was a handle. And like in the US, that's code for, like, the handle is what you pull and the bar is what you push. And so I had a foreigner moment of like, I can't open the door. And I'm so sure the doctor is just standing there like face palming at this stupid American unable to get out. I'm sure it was fine. Like, I really am being hard on myself, but the anthropologist in me is like frustrated that I can't blend. And I'm trying, like, I'm reading articles on customs and mores. Like, as we're walking, I'm like, oop, we're in the bike lane. Like, we need to get out of the bike lane, even though there's no bikes. Like, we'll clearly be in the wrong and ignorant if we're in the bike lanes, and things like that. But it's a whole country all at once, and I've only been here once for 2 days, so there's just a lot of catch up to do. And so yeah, I think I'm probably like way too hard on myself about like customs and communication, but I don't like not being able to assimilate. My anthropological self really wants to be able to do that. Anyway, we'll have our tests ready in a day. So tomorrow morning we should know. And then maybe I'll have some real adventures to share with you.